And on the line, I got one of my favorite MCs repping Chicago, known as Ausar. How you doing, man?
Man, I am smooth. Can't complain at all. It's a beautiful day.
Yes, it is. And I'm gonna start it off here, name wise. Do you know where your name derived from, or the origin?
I do. It's basically another derivation of Osiris, which is a Egyptian god. Um, yeah, and a lot of people say it's like African version of Jesus. It's funny. My dad, my dad in college took like an African studies class, and they were just learning about like Egyptian deities and stuff. He heard the name Asar and was just like, "Wow, this is really really dope." And what he described it to me as translating to was like Lord of Judgment.
So, two things.
Hmm.
Does that ever feel like pressure knowing that you have a name of a god, and do you actually have a what we say a lord
Lord of
of
Judgment.
of judgment? Do you see yourself being real good with judging? And
I used to really not like my name when I was a shorty because like coming into a second grade classroom and having to describe all of that to other second graders is like, yeah, gee, this, yeah, it's not really sitting with me. But I feel like it made me want to give my own meaning to my name based off the life that I live. And that's kind of the spin I took on it. And I don't know. I think that in terms of judgment, if I had to take that in any specific form, I do a good job of judging people's character. Like in terms of the circle that I have around me, I think I've been really blessed to have a circle around me of people who have really good character and really want to see me succeed. So I chalk that up to God having favor on me, but also having that discernment to know like who should be in my space.
man, so that's see, Lord of Judgment. There you got it, man. You got it. Now I know you went to U of I
Hmm.
out in Champaign, correct?
Yep.
And you said you got a nice circle around you, and I know you were part of Word. For those that don't know who Word
Word.
is, definitely break down Word for the world.
Yeah, Word is Writers Organized in Realistic Dialect. It is an RSO on U of I's campus, uh, founded by Kenny and Abril. It's basically a space for creatives. I wasn't gonna say rappers and poets, but it's really just creatives in general to come hone in your skills. They have concerts every semester and workshops every week. And it really just feels like a family. They were the ones to push me to really start taking music seriously. And I am forever grateful to that hub, to that family being out there with me.
Do you feel like being a part of Word and just being in college in general help bring some of those people that's in your corner to this day?
Yeah, like I would not be where I am currently had it not been for one, the college that I went to, and two, being a part of where I met the first collective and the most long lasting collective I've been in is AIM. AIM is me, Josie Green, Ro Marsalis, and Shy Atkins. Um, and I met Josie and Ro through Word. Like Josie was the first person outside of my family to kind of take me up under their wing and be like, "Yo, let's work. Like I want to work with you." Blah 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 blah. Through Josie, I met Ro and Shy, and like those have Josie and Ro specifically have been like mentors to me since I started taking music seriously, and a lot of my growth I attribute to them directly. So that wouldn't have happened had I not joined Word.
It's a good thing you did, step out and take chances at college and meeting people and greeting people and then still staying consistent with the music. Was it a way that some things you had to deal with in order to balance, your music and your college work and also, make sure you graduate and get up out of there?
Yeah, no, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. I was not a good student at all. Like I'm not even gonna sit here and act like, yeah, I had straight A's and B's. No, um, I did what I needed to pass. I realized and knew what it took to pass, but my first desire was music, and so a lot of my time it was just like I either gotta make a sacrifice to not go to the show out in another state, so I can study for this exam, or I'm gonna have to make sure I just get a C on that exam. And I got a C on that exam.
You still passed though.
Yeah, still passed. You know, it was just a lot of that, a lot of split second decision making. And then I was an RA in college too. So between like trying to make it to my work shifts and doing RA stuff in school and music, it became a lot. But God showed mercy and favor, and we got on through that.
And you know, I salute you on that, man. You, as on an artist standpoint, you've been very consistent. I want to say pretty much a lot of the music I've heard come from you have all been hit. Like, it's never been a hit or miss with you. And so I definitely got to salute you on that. And, you know, we've definitely played some of your singles over here at Vocalo, played Moesha. We got to talk about Moesha because, you know, that recently landed on Netflix. Was that partially the reason why you did that single, or was it already in mind for you to do a tribute?
No. So the way that happened, I was at my homie Kurt Stoneface. I was at his crib. He was just cooking up, and one of the beats that he had played for me was the Moesha beat. And while he was playing it, I was listening, and the synth lead that he was using sounded like the synth that they use when she like sitting writing in her notebook.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, that did just drop on Netflix too. This would probably be prime time to actually write a song about Moesha. And so I was just like, yeah, bro, just keep working on that. And as he was working on it, I was sitting writing. And I was like, okay, yeah, this is gonna be the Moesha joint. And it all just happened to fall into place. The story of how that all fell into place was actually very funny, and right on time too.
It was, because Brandy and Monica had that versus battle as well around the same time.
At the same time.
So, I mean, did that, for you at least, did you see that track pick up some steam?
To a degree. I think it was a more so than it picking up steam. I think it was just a cool exercise in terms of rollout and in terms of working at a faster pace, like a more so an industry pace, where it's like you got limited time, you got to make it work. What you're gonna come up with? It felt like one of those types of challenges. There was a lot going on around the release, like the March on Washington was happening during that time, and a couple of other things that like I feel like were definitely 100% more important, and that's what people's attentions were like drawn to. And by no means do I like feel slighted in any way, because there are more important issues going on in the world right now. So if nothing else, I'd chalk it up to a really dope learning experience, and it definitely taught us some things in terms of how we wanted to move forward in terms of rollout and things of that nature.
I got to speak on, you know, life, man. You know, the pandemic has took place. How has that took a toll on you personally?
A few different ways. I think it finally gave me a chance to slow down. I know that since I had gotten to the crib from school, because I got done in May, got back, got a job, and like started moving. It was like, now that I'm back home, I just want to move, politic, network, be at all the shows, be in all the studios. Like, I got to make it work. Pandemic made me go, yo, slow down, relax, take some time for yourself, work on your own stuff, think, like process the last year of your life, like just chill out. And I think that was really, really good for me. It made me go back to the drawing board on a lot. And it also opened up the space, segueing into like, it opened up the space for me to work on this project, because we started in March. So this is really what gave me the opportunity to do it.
Wow. That's where the pandemic really hit home for us.
Yeah.
Let's jump into the project, because overall with that happening, did that give you a different sensibility towards how you wanted to create this project and put it out? Did it change some of the songs you had in mind and things of that nature?
Literally, because we like for real started this in March. Like the opening track is called Flight of the Honeybee. And my homie Emmy sent that joint over. And as I was listening to the instrumentation, it reminded me of Flight of the Bumblebee, which is like a classical piece. Just playing on the piano, like the you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I used to play
Yeah,
that.
okay. Yeah, so like I was listening to that and it just reminded me of bees. So I was writing it, and once I got done writing it, I was just like, this is a really dope concept, like for this song, but for a project as a whole. Because I feel like bees in general, the project is basically using bees in general as a metaphor for like marginalized groups. Um, Bees are responsible for 1/3 of the world's food population. And without them, like without them pollinating, we wouldn't have that. A lot of times bees get a negative rep because they're seen as aggressive or like just a bad omen in general, when really they don't even attack at all unless they feel like they have to protect something or they're threatened. Um, and just all the stigmas that surround bees, what they really do for the world, how they're an endangered population. It just all made sense in the current scope of what was going on in the world. And I was just like, this is where I want to stay.
What can we possibly expect as far as like track length, features?
Um, 5 tracks.
Okay.
In terms of features, it's mostly just me in terms of actual rapping. One feature verse from Aaron Doe. Couple of singing features from Ro Marsalis. Um, what I'm most excited about though, in terms of how we sequenced all of this, is really the production. There are a lot of producers on this joint and co-producers and additional instrumentation, a lot of live instrumentation. So we got everybody from my homie Emmy to Aaron has production on there, Ro has production on there. Um, who else has production on there? We got my homie Stoneface who has production on there, my homie Elijah, D Noel, who has been, let me tell you something, has been the secret sauce that we have been missing for a long time. All of these joints is just like we listen to them and be like, there's one or two pieces missing. We send them over to D Noel. When he sent them joints back, it's like he gave them all new life every time. Um, he does everything from keys to just it's hard to explain but when you listen to it and you be like, oh wow, like the live instrumentation on this joint is crazy. It got a little sauce to it. Just know that was D Noel.
Shout out to D Noel for holding it down. Because live instrumentation, you know, to me, that's a big deal. I love live instruments in the background of, you know, the song or just in general on the stage. I love
Right.
live instrumentation. It brings a whole new feel, vibe. So I already know what I'm finna get from you. And I mean, what the world in general is about to get from you. And another thing people may not know is you don't use profanity in any of your music.
Not at all.
I mean, let's talk about that a little bit before, you know, we announce the single we're gonna get into. Why do you feel for you as an artist you don't need to use profanity to get your point across?
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, it's just because I don't use profanity in general. I grew up in a very, very traditional Christian household. So like that was just kind of something that was instilled in me along with a whole bunch of other things. And then, like you said, I really just don't feel like I need it to get my point across. Making music to me is something that feels like pure and feels, I don't know, I get the same feeling making music that I do like when I'm praying. And so like I use that as a time to really delve in and make it, I don't know how I want to describe it. Like it's a very spiritual thing for me. Um and I don't want to sully it, which is why I also don't hop on tracks either that have cursing on them.
Mm.
Um so yeah, that's probably the best answer I can give.
Look, I just learned something new right there. In order to get a feature from Ausar, you bet not have no profanity.
have no profanity at all. At all.
Yo, you started some. You started some, man. I like. We should start a no profanity challenge. That way, look. Then that way we can see who else will be able. You can get feet. You know, you will be able to feature with too.
True. This is true.
That's
like, listen, show me you really got it.
I appreciate you taking your time out, my brother, and chopping it up with me. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having me.